our way, like we play at home, I think we'd be leaving the rest of the teams behind in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, you know, getting that point, hopefully, you know, it will kickstart these winning ways. Also, if you're back with us, I did click the stream back on, so it should be back on there. I'm sorry for the drops. It sucks, but I think we might be looking at a new place. Sorry guys. But that might have to happen. Sometimes it happens. We'll have to figure that one out, or just hardwire. So we are back. So if anybody's out there still watching, we are, like I said, we're back. Pass the word along, tweet us out, Facebook us, text us.
Just share it with everybody.
Yeah. Send a carrier pigeon.
Smoke signal?
Stalling. Or smoke signal. I mean, that works too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are back. So getting into the Portland match, out of 11 matches played, we have 4 wins, 4 losses, 3 draws, and an even goal difference. At home, a little bit better story. 5 matches, 3 wins, 2 draws, and a +5 goal difference. The last match that we played here in Houston against Portland, I'll give somebody a second to see if they can comment in. You know what it is. Somebody on this team who is also young, who also probably sealed himself here as a starter, maybe long term. Also had a hat trick that match. Carson, that's just wrong. Carson just gave us the update that the Toros are losing. He will be calling in here shortly to give us some Toros news. I'm going to let Edson run that segment since that is right up his alley. But yes, Calvin Manotas. From that point on, that when he hit that hat trick, I decided right then and there my next Dynamo kit will have Manotas on the back of it. I think he is the long-term future of this team. I'm still on the fence about Kubo, and it's nothing against Kubo this year. I think he's playing amazing, but I think Manotas is better. I think he will fit the system better. I don't know. I think you need to move. Penalty coming up now for the Toros.
Another penalty?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and give Sean a call. Let's see, and we'll talk a little bit about Portland. We'll talk about
DC.
Yeah, we'll talk about DC. Try to get him on. So let me find that. Nah, that's not him. There it is. All right.
Penalty saved. No more smiles.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice is...
Wow, Sean, you're supposed to answer the phone. Sean, if you're here, call us back. Sean.
Carson,
Sean.
when must you do that to me?
Let's try to get him back. Unless he's coughing up a lung like everybody else.
Hello. Please state your
Nope. All right.
I think it's coming back. Let's just give him a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'll give him a couple minutes. I'll shoot him a text too, tell him to call. Uh-oh. This is somebody. Hello, welcome to the Peel. Guess not. There he is. Hello, welcome to the Peel.
Hey guys, it's Sean.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Sean?
I'm trying not to cough up a lung while I'm on here.
You sound like you're having trouble. So yeah.
Yeah.
The feed's back, so that's nice. Yeah. So we were just talking to DC match. We're talking Manotas, setting up for the Portland match. I guess we'll let you. Just your thoughts on the DC match.
Best away match we played to date. I mean, it still wasn't a complete match, but it was definitely one of our better played matches. Hey, by the way, I'm hearing myself mock.
How about now?
I don't know. Oh, that's much better. Okay.
Okay, that was my fault.
Yeah, that's really strange. carrying around echo. Anyway, so yeah, the DC match, that was by far the favorite, for sure. Wow, your connectivity is crap right now.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's through my phone. That's not even through Skype.
Okay, well, it got better, so I don't know what the deal was with that. Anyways, DC match definitely the best we've played on the road. And, you know, it was 2/3 of a complete match. I mean, we had the one goal we gave up, which was a lapse. It was definitely a mental lapse, but the team kind of came back. The team dealt with it. The team kind of took a deep breath and you know, they solidified themselves defensively. We had a few shaky moments in there, but, you know, this is MLS. I tweeted this out when I was talking to multiple people about this throughout the week. You know, this is MLS. This is the MLS that we have to kind of get used to, where there are very few games now that include clean sheets. No matter what the score line is, it's very, very rare. Because you just have so many teams focusing on the attack side of the ball that you know, they're pouring their resources into getting the best players on the attack, and in the attack you're not seeing as much focus on defense and that sort of thing, because, you know, if you can outscore the opponent, you don't have to worry about defense as much. So I think that's kind of a microcosm of that. But, you know, one thing, as a side note to tie into that, I don't know if you saw my tweet earlier today. It was really interesting. Somebody had posted a breakdown of the MLSPU salaries of each team for each club, and then the points per game for each club. And the Dynamo were 8th in points per game, but they're last in salary, total salary for the team. They're basically right at about $5 million in salary. Toronto FC were first in the league in salary. And their points per game is 1.9 points per game, or 1.8 points per game. So, and they're, like I said, they're a little over 20 million. So they're basically the Dynamo are 1/5 the salary, total salary of Toronto.
Wow.
And yet they're getting, you know, they're 1/10 of a point per game less. That's magical, is what that is. I mean, that's, you know, that is, and I keep saying it because I think fans really need to understand that right there is why Matt Gordon and why Wilmer Cabrera deserve our patience, they deserve our confidence, and they deserve our trust at this point. We just need to be willing, you know, when they make a move like bring Philippe Senderos on trial, like they did this week, who's a 32-year-old Swiss center back. When they bring a guy like that on trial, that some people know because he played for Arsenal in the Premier League for a few seasons a while back, and he's had struggles since then. But when they bring a player like that into the club as a trialist, they kind of have faith and yet have trust that they know what they're doing enough that if they don't think the guy's not going to make it, they're not going to sign it. But if they do end up signing this guy, it's going to be at the veteran minimum for 1 year, which is important because it's not a very high salary and it's a good deal for 1 year. But it's also the fact of, you know what, they're trying to find those diamonds in the rough. And it's not a player at a position that we absolutely need a starter. We can afford to bring in a backup player that maybe needs a chance, needs a shot, that used to be a really good player. He's run into some injuries. He's had some struggles here and there. But there are players out there that have had those struggles, and then after a while, they actually come back stronger and better.
Yeah.
But I say all that to basically say that you don't see. Fans have to be willing to give Matt Jordan and Wilmer Cabrera the benefit of the doubt with those types of situations. You know, we as fans see where the holes are and we see what the needs are, but we don't see the players how they play in practice. We don't see the players how they're working out. We don't see the players' mentality when they're talking with Wilmer, when they're talking with Matt Jordan, when they're talking with each other on the pitch during practice or, you know, during the week or whatever the case may be. And I think at this point, Wilmer and Matt Jordan have definitely proven that we need to take a step back as fans and just be willing to let them work and let them do what they do, because they haven't given us a reason not to at this point.
I'd agree with that. I mean, you know, Josh and I, we were huge critics of Matt Jordan last year. And then, I mean, I can't say anything bad about the guy right now. I mean, not with the way this team is playing. I don't have a reason to.
Nah, honestly, like even at the beginning of the season, you know, from seeing what Wilmer Cabrera had done with the RGVFC Toros last season, And then getting the announcement that he was going to be the head coach for the Houston Dynamo, I had a lot of faith that Cabrera was going to turn things around for the Dynamo, because he knows his system really well. He knows what the kind of players he needs. So as long as Matt Jordan was willing to work with bringing the players that would fit his system really well, we're starting to see the results now. It's a complete night and day difference between last season's Houston Dynamo and this season's.
Hey, Edson, let me ask you a question. As somebody who I feel like is significantly more knowledgeable about RGV than myself, and almost guaranteed than Justin and Josh, we brought in the Sounders 2 coach, and RGV this season is struggling. Do you think those struggles are player-related, the talent of people for the Dynamo senior team, or are those struggles losing Cabrera and bringing in Sounders 2 coach, and it's the coach struggle? What do you think that might be?
I really think it's a combination, a little bit of both, but mostly I think it's the coach. I feel like he's got these players, but he doesn't know what to do with them. He's putting players in the wrong positions. He's experimenting too much. He's constantly rotating especially in the goalkeeper position. I mean, you're starting to see a lot of Marco Carducci, a lot of Borja, when Callie Brown goes down as well, and so there's no consistency. I feel that really doesn't help the defenders at all. Being with their confidence.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So moving.
I was just curious. Sorry,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So moving on. How do you think we fare against Portland? The previous play is in our favor. I mean, coming off a road win, playing extremely well at home, beating them at home last year, and with our guys being back. What do you see with this club on Saturday?
Well, let's also keep in mind too, we were leading them for a half in Portland at the beginning of the season. About second game of the season, third game of the season. I think we fare really well at home, and I think it would be incredibly short-sighted of anyone to count out the Dynamo against Portland, who, by the way, Portland is below them in the table. And we have a game in hand over them, which is great.
Yep.
But I think at home we are just an unstoppable force this season. I mean, we've seen it. We haven't beat at home yet. I'm just not going to. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but part of that too is that we tend to dominate. We tend to dominate here at home, and there hasn't been a team yet that's beaten us here, and I don't think Portland's that team right now. I just don't. They've had good games, but they've not really had great games away from Portland.
Yeah. Well, real quick, before we let you go, because we're going to try to get into some Dash stuff and some RGV stuff, what is your prediction for Saturday?
3-1 Dynamo.
3-1 Dynamo. And tonight, the U.S. match.
1-0 U.S.
1-0. I can totally see that, especially with the way Andre Blake's been playing.
Yeah.
It is a really good thing that Tim Howard is back in goal.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that against Jamaica.
Yeah. But we appreciate you coming on. Hopefully you get better so you can come on next week. But definitely keep commenting.
That's the plan.
Hopefully people are still paying attention to us. So, but
all right, man. Have a good one.
All right, bro.
Take care, Sean.
Later, Sean. All right. Well, that was my other sick co-host, Sean. Dominate against Portland. That's what Josh says. I could see that. Also, let's see. Got some other cool stats to throw in here. Also, after coming off the DC win, Alex is now tied for first place in assists, and the only other player in Dynamo history to get double-digit assists was Brad Davis, 2011. So it's been a while. We're both tied with Toronto in second with the most goals in the league. Valeria and Aldi are also tied for 6th with 10 goals, so we definitely need to pay attention to them. Portland is coming off a road win over Vancouver, and they're 2-1. Oh, Josh wants to call in. Let's see if he's still sick. What's up, Josh?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you feeling?
I've had better days.
Okay.
Watching you guys.
your sickness or your pride after I beat you this weekend?
Shut your face. we will discuss that next week. Unfortunately, yeah, you. I hate you. That's all
you see the love that we all have for each other on the show? Sean's probably the only one that's a little level-headed.
Yeah, it was sad because I captained David Villa and he got me 40 points and I was tearing it up. And I don't know how you came back and beat me. That was
honestly, I don't know either.
Good job, sir.
I had a horrible midweek, and then I just came back and destroyed him on the weekend.
I think he just pressed all the buttons, like in Street Fighter.
Well, it's good. I'm glad that we didn't actually place a bet on the Derby because I would have already lost it. So.
Yeah. Well, we got to see. Are you officially eliminated out of the Derby, or we got one more matchup?
We only have one more matchup, but
okay.
Won the first 2, so that officially eliminates me out of the Derby.
well, we need to get him to do something funny.
I'll take a consolation win. I'll take a consolation win.
All right, Josh. So, what are your thoughts on the DC match? Because obviously it's big, and then we'll move into the Portland match.
Yeah. Now, to be honest, man, I was at a concert when I watched that game, and we were standing in a line for a beer, and I saw the first 20 minutes, and that's all I needed to see, us finally finishing our goals and doing what we did not do in Minnesota because we played well in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We just couldn't finish. We just couldn't put the damn ball in the net. And so now I'm happy that, we ended up doing ultimately what we should have did in Minnesota. So scoring those 3 goals in the first 17 minutes was great. Memo's got some jump on him. That's amazing. Memo's really high.
Where does Memo now fit in all this? Especially with Manotas, Kyoto, Elise, and Wenger. I mean, all of them are playing at a pretty decent level. So, where does Memo fit into this?
This is the B team. But, man, in my honest opinion, for a road team, okay, for the way that we've been playing on the road, we look better without Kyoto, Elise, and Kupo. In DC and in Minnesota. Now I know that the competition is a little bit different because of DC and Minnesota, but this team looks like they knew each other. The chemistry was so well. I don't know what.
Let me throw this out there real quick then, Josh. Do you think that this is just a product of them finally getting used to playing with each other? At least these sets of guys, while the Gold Cup guys are up.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, I think it's building chemistry. I think the break really helped these guys develop a lot of chemistry. I think it helped them get a lot more match fitness, and then it just ultimately builds that depth and that bench that you have now because we know that against Portland we'll start Kubo, and then we'll start either Kyoto and Elise, and then most likely Morrow. But now you have all these other attacking options, and then with Tomas Martinez coming into play, it's just building an ultimate team. And I think the Dynamo have a really, really good future coming into this heading into the further of the season now, the latter half of the season.
Yeah. So, where do you think, or what do you think is going to happen this weekend? I read off the stats on how we play against Portland, and especially the last time Portland was here, it was Manotas' hat trick. So, what do you hope to see?
It's going to be.
Go ahead.
With the way Portland's playing, they're kind of all over the place and jumbled all around. I think it's going to be a total domination for the Dynamo. I really do.
I definitely see us getting a win. I don't know about total domination. Chara is back off of injury, so that's bad. Now, granted, Mattox and Nagby are not. They're still gone out of this roster. But you still do have Valeria and Aldi that you still have to watch out for.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. You know, and I could, I believe in that. But, you know, I think it's gonna be almost a rout, man.
Oh.
4-1. Yeah.
4-1.
I could say a lot of players are gonna score some goals. And I think this Dynamo team is finally finding some form here, you know, and consistency. Especially with a road win like that, you got to come back and follow up with another win.
I don't know if I can say a blowout. I don't think I can say a blowout. Now, yes, we definitely win. I just don't know if I can say a blowout. Now, granted, I've been wrong. But I also think Portland...
You got to give Portland some respect as well.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But last time Portland came here, we were the bottom dwellers of the season. And
that's true.
You even said it, Minotas got himself a hat trick, and we ended up walking out 3-1 winners, you know, as sitting at the bottom of the table. I think with this team coming here again, they don't play well. They don't play well against us here in Houston. Not a lot of teams do, though.
Yeah. So because we're trying to move on here, we're going to try to get Carson on while the match is still on.
Absolutely.
What are your predictions tonight? And I'm going to say, because I know you like to pick some real obscure predictions, but Andre Blake is probably the best keeper in this tournament right now.
Absolutely. No, if Jamaica wins this, he's going to be MVP of the tournament.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say USA 1-0 and Clint Dempsey.
Clint Dempsey. I can see that. I can see Clint getting it. I can see Landon Donovan being pissed off because he wants to be number one and everything, and I can't stand him.
Take it, Landon.
But
real fast, I'm glad that you're famous on Fox Soccer on their Facebook page. That was awesome seeing you guys in the front row there.
Oh yeah, that was pretty awesome. But my only thing is I'm gonna give Kirsten some shit tonight if she's there. Every time she is caught on camera, she is on her cell phone.
That's hilarious.
But
that is hilarious. I noticed that too. That's funny.
I have some video that I'll share to you. The atmosphere was just stupid. It was, and I mean Edson was there too. And I wish I would have known that. I would have got you a beer at the tailgate. But
it was kind of last
pictures,
minute.
man. I wish I was there. I was rocking out though.
Yeah, you were rocking out amidst of a thunderstorm that we got updates for, saying our house was going to flood.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But Sean,
right,
Josh, definitely get better. We need you on next week. Well, Josh and Sean get better.
Absolutely, I'll be back.
So,
yeah.
Especially we got a Portland win to talk about, or a Dynamo win against Portland to talk about. We've got U.S. winning the Gold Cup to talk about. So yeah, can't wait to have you on next week.
I'll be back next week.
Yes, sir. Get better.
Get better, man.
All right.
Later.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Well, there you have my other co-host, Josh. It's still cool that they'll still call in.
Well, now we're basically complete.
Yeah, I mean, they need to get better because, like I said, having Edson on is great, but the peel's not the peel without the other two parts of the peel.
Gotta let the pros see what they do.
But we are gonna throw this into your wheelhouse. We're gonna talk Toros. We're gonna talk Dash real quick. Try to throw in some U.S. stuff because this is also a pre-match. We got 20 minutes because I'm telling you, this show will be over by 8 o'clock. So we're gonna go ahead and get Carson on. We'll let you spiel about the Toros real quick while I try to get him on.
It looks like we have an injury. We had an injury. They subbed out at the 24th minute Camilo Monroy, and now my boy Cal Murphy's going to go in. It's pretty sad because last week we lost early in the game as well. We against Orange County at home. We lost Ruben Luna to an injury as well. So now for this game we're playing with Francisco Pungo as the striker. Let's see how that goes.
I mean, do you think that the team can still turn around? Because, I mean, there's not much left in the season.
No.
All right, well, we got Carson coming on. Hey, Carson, welcome to the Peel.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much.
And for the
What's up,
record,
Carson?
I feel completely healthy.
Finally, somebody does. So, yeah, what's going on with the Toros, man?
It's not good. You have one of the best insiders there sitting next to you, but Honestly, I think Edson handled it or answered the question well. When Sean asked, what's going on, I would actually lean kind of the other end of the equation with where the responsibility is. I think if you have, as I mentioned in my article today, when you have an exit of guys like Mamo, Charlie Ward, even to the extent of Kevin Garcia, George Malky, Callum Irving, you're not going to see the same results. Those are super, super talented dudes, as we can now see with Mames up with the Dynamo. I think the responsibility with Junior is going to be more on making adjustments as he goes now. As they say, not fitting a square into the round cog, whatever the heck that saying is. You need to adjust. You're not going to have. They were trying to kind of force Eric Bird into Charlie's role. You're not going to be able to do that. You need to adjust. I like Pungo up top. I think he hopefully I have a high regard for Junior. I'm hopeful that he'll be able to make those adjustments. If he doesn't, I would say then I would probably agree with Edson that maybe he might not be the right guy. But I'm going to go with the optimist approach and say that he's going to make the adjustments and we're going to catch fire somehow this season. But maybe we won't. Maybe we won't be as good as we were last year.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm going to throw this out there, and feel free to be honest. Do you think that maybe, and this kind of ties in with the promotion relegation deny from MLS with the TV rights too? Do you think that this is a problem with being an affiliate? I mean, granted, it's helped us out. I mean, we have. I mean, look at Memo. Memo's been playing lights out. Do you think that this is a problem too, or do you squarely put this on the coach?
No, I actually do think that it is a problem because, like I had told the guys from Colorado when they asked me, we don't know. We get the short end of the stick of this agreement. As a Dynamo fan, I'm glad that the system is doing well. But as a Toros fan, we see like all our good players, instead of building the chemistry with the Toros, they leave for the Dynamo, and then we get pretty much the scraps left, and having to turn the season around. Within, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm like they are. I know that they're good players because most of these guys were here last season as well. But this whole I'm trying to think of the word, inconsistency with the lineups, not knowing who the Dynamo's going to be sending down or who's going to go up to the Dynamo, especially when the Dynamo were in the U.S. Open Cup. This inconsistency just didn't help with the chemistry, and it doesn't help, as Carson mentioned, having putting one of the best attacking midfielders, which is Eric Bird, as CDM position. It just didn't help, and there were so many goals where it was blatantly obvious that Bird just didn't feel comfortable in that position.
Yeah, I would say you see there's going to be good and bad, honestly, from affiliations like this. It's similar to minor league baseball. Mm-hmm. You're going to have the benefits of good players coming down. I know we all enjoy, even Jose Escalante. He's a Dynamo player. He comes down and helps out. Mm-hmm. Then you're also going to see, like Edson said, you're going to lose Charlie Ward. You're going to lose the Mamos of the world. Where as they start to get good and you start to say, oh, hey, we got a stud here. The MLS team comes calling and they want him. That's why this was designed, unfortunately. It's going to be great to be competitive in the USL, but a lot of it is going to be development. And I know that sucks, but I can say there were years the Akron Arrows growing up sucked real bad, but I also got to see guys like GC Sabathia, Francisco Lindor, and guys like that come through. So it's one of those where you just kind of have to appreciate them while they're there, and then get to watch them as they grow onto the professional ranks or higher up the professional ladder. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll get into this match. So I know it's not looking too good. I know you were trolling Edson a little bit. So what's going on tonight?
Yeah, this week is going to be kind of weird. So tonight they're playing Real Monarchs, who are the best team in the USL. And then Saturday or Sunday, one of the two, they play Portland Timbers 2, who's the worst team in the USL. Tonight, it's not looking great. Like Edson said, Camilo Monroy got subbed off. There was horrible marking on the goal by Real Salt Lake. He was somehow ended up wide open right in front of the goalie. And then Eric Bird missed a penalty. I don't want to say it was lazy. It didn't look like the most inspired penalty effort I've seen. But yet, not looking great. It's looking like a serious work in progress, which is putting it very nicely.
And I think I was telling Justin before the show that we lost. The difference between this year and last year, another difference, was that we had a leader in the back with Kevin Garcia in the center back position. He was the one that took charge out there in the back, controlling the defense, where to position themselves, and he was one of the main reasons why we had such a big shutout streak last season. Now, none of the players that we have left are wanting to step up. The one who I thought would step up would be Megales, and yet I'm seeing that he's the one that's making most of the silly mistakes back there.
Yeah, and I think Kevin was honestly one of the most, obviously you appreciated him, but I think overall he was one of the most underappreciated players for the Toros last year. You're exactly right. Having a central defender that is able to set things up, and he could play anywhere across the back line as well. Ivan, he's good. He seems to be getting miscommunications a little bit more frequently on the back line, and also on that back line, Robbie Sagal gets turned around a little too often. I like to see Taylor Hunter down there, but it's just something where, like you said, consistency. When you don't have consistency, it's hard to have an identity. And then when players leave, it's also hard to, create an identity when you don't really know what you have yet.
All right, well, I mean, do you think they turn this one around tonight? Or you think this one's a lost cause? I mean, we're almost already at halftime.
Yeah, I was hoping Escalante was going to score that free kick. Both they've been pretty bad at. But I don't know. Maybe Escalante looks pretty lively tonight. That's always a good thing. I think he's starting to get into mid-season form. I can't say that I'm expecting a win. I would say I'll come away very happy with this draw, even though we're at home.
Now, my question to you, Carson, is: do you think that the Toros will be able to get their act together for this second half of the season? Do you think that we'll start seeing better results, or should the Dynamo and the Toros just start planning for next season?
I don't think they're going to get to where they were last year, to be honest with you. I think they lost too much talent to be second best team in the Western Conference. I think your best case scenario is, as the Dynamo season goes along and those guys get back from international duty, maybe you see a couple familiar faces down. Maybe you see Charlie come down a little bit, or Mames. I don't think the Dynamo are going to let Mames come down too often, but maybe you see some of those guys come down and help out a little bit. I think at best they're a low playoff team and maybe can surprise someone. But if I had to be brutally honest, I will say look forward to the 2018 Toros. I don't think this version of the team is going to turn too many heads, unfortunately. All
right. Well, hopefully we'll see something. Hopefully the club will turn it around, get a win out of Portland this week. But Carson, that's going to do it for us. We're going to go ahead and jump into the Gold Cup match, a little bit of dash stuff, and call it a night. I got a game to go watch.
Me too.
Sounds good. I'll say U.S. 2-0 tonight, and I'll say the Dynamo also win this weekend, and maybe the Toros win this weekend too.
There you go. All right.
And how about I'll also predict 3 healthy co-hosts next week. That's my bold prediction.
Yes. Watch, I'll be the one with the flu next week. So.
Don't jinx yourself.
All right, Carson, until next week.
All right, good.
All right, later.
Take care, Carson.
There you have Carson. Be sure to check his stuff out on dynamotheory.com with his The Bull and Its Horns. Very good read on all things Toros. It's a good thing to pay attention to, because remember, players like Memo came up through the Toros, and they're making he's making a pretty big splash. So real quick, run through some dash stuff, because they did also win this weekend. They won 1-0 on Saturday over the Boston Breakers, and they now move up to 6th. with a record of 6-7-2. They are 3-2, and they're three wins, and 2 draws in their last 5. They will take on the 3rd place Portland Thorns, August 5th, and that match will be on Lifetime, 3 o'clock our time. So definitely check that out. With that being said, though, the Dash do have 6 players that have been called up for the Tournament of Nations. That kicks off tomorrow. Let me go here, because they did have an article about it. Dash are playing extremely well. Hopefully this is enough for them to make the playoffs,
On Thursday.
Yep. Wait for this to load. I'll tell you what Dash players were called up. Carly Lloyd was also called up as well. It's not going to be on this list. Couldn't tell you why it's not on this list, but it's not on this list.
I just saw it.
Yeah. I hate NWSL's website, by the way.
Help them out.
Okay, there we go. Keep reading. Come on. There we go. You do have all your regulars. They also all got called up. Jane Campbell getting called up, which is big for her. She's been playing extremely well for the Dash.
Morgan Bryan.
Yeah, Morgan Bryan getting called up. Carly Lloyd getting called up. She is on this list. They must have just added her on here. You have my girl, Cindy LaRue. My girlfriend will kill me, but yeah, she got called up.
Lydia Williams.
Yep. Lydia Williams, goalkeeper, was also called up for Australia. You also had, you're better with Spanish names than I am.
Bruna Benitez.
There you go. And then there was one more right here.
Andresinha.
There you go. Also called up for Brazil. So Dash are going to be losing some players for this tournament. Tournament kicks off tomorrow. You have the U.S. taking on Australia. That match will be 7 o'clock Pacific time, which should be 6 o'clock our time. That match will be on...
no, Pacific... No, it's actually 9
o'clock. 9 o'clock. You got me. 9 o'clock on ESPN. And then the first match is Brazil and Japan. There's only 4 teams playing, Australia, Brazil, Japan, and United States. That kicks off tomorrow. And then that takes us to probably the biggest part of today. And I don't know why I just threw that. You do have the Gold Cup final tonight. U.S. will be taking on Jamaica. The lineups were just posted. So I'm going to go ahead and read that off. Let's see. We have Villafania, Gonzalez, Beasler, Jordan Morris, Granzusi, Paul Areola, Kellen Acosta, Tim Howard, Darlington Nadby, Michael Bradley, and Josie Altador, all playing tonight. Areola's played pretty well. He looked pretty good last week. Tim Howard played lights out on Saturday. With that being said, though, Jamaica has an extremely strong club. All time, out of 24 matches, we're looking at 14 wins, 2 losses, and 8 draws. And the Gold Cup, 3 wins, 1 loss, 0 draws. That 1 loss came in 2015 in the semifinal match. In that match, and the only reason it's of any importance is Matt Tox, who's playing for Portland and also playing tonight, scored. And then Giles Barnes also scored too. And that was the nail in the coffin of that one. What do you think tonight?
I think it's going to be a really, really difficult match for the USMNT. Mm-hmm. I got to go with what everybody else said, 1-0.
Yeah, there's no way that I see Jamaica not scoring. I'm going to go 2-1. They're going to get one by Tim Howard. Tim Howard, although he's been good, he could have given up one on Saturday. And then one in the prior match, too. He's gotten lucky with a few. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not saying that the U.S. isn't going to win this. I see them winning 2-1. This is what their 10th Gold Cup. Jamaica, they've won twice, if I remember correctly. Have they? Or I'm wrong. Gold Cup total.
I'll find it out for you while this is loading.
But I don't know. I will say overall this tournament, I've been pretty unhappy with this tournament overall. Teams were underperforming. You had teams not taking this seriously, as in Martinique, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Martinique, not taking this tournament seriously.
Malota.
Yeah, with that, doesn't make any sense. Okay, so, Jamaica was a runner-up 2015. Excuse me. Yeah, so the U.S. is going for their 6th title. That will put them 1 behind Mexico. You have Mexican fans that are also real salty about this, trying to say, oh, this tournament doesn't matter. It mattered to get you into Confederations Cup, so it matters.
Oh, yes. And this is coming because I'm gonna be honest. I support both. Like, I want both.
Well, you have a reason to.
Yeah, but it's extremely heartbreaking to see that even Mexico didn't take it seriously. You had the opportunity to call up better players. For the knockout stages, and they decided how can I say it? They underestimated the rest of the teams. They thought that with this Liga MX squad that they would be able to win the tournament again.
So then let me ask you this then, because essentially the U.S. brought their MLS squad, minus one player that plays in Liga MX, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm. Joe Corona.
Yeah. So right now, because this is kind of your Mexican stars of Liga MX, does this mean MLS is better than Liga MX? I mean, I know it's a stretch, but
I don't. I think that the local players from the MLS are better than the local players. Like, for example, the Mexican players of the Liga MX. Yeah. The Americans in MLS are better than the Mexicans in Liga MX, because technically you supposedly brought your best players from your league, and the U.S. bought their best players from the MLS. And you see that the United States are in the final. Mexico stayed behind. They lost against Jamaica, And honestly, like with Liga MX, there's a lot of controversy with this whole 10-8 rule, with being a lot of people from out of the country playing. You got players like Vargas, Guignac, Ener Valencia now with Tigres. So they're complaining, well, they're taking over the spots that could go for Mexican players. But the way it is now, if you're really good, if you're as a young Mexican player, if you're really good, to knock down, because it has happened in these scenes where the Mexican player takes over the spot from someone from outside. If you're really that good, all competition is welcome.
Yeah. And I don't think you should ever have a cap. Could you imagine the U.S. putting a cap on that? Bruce Arena, he'd be fired. Yeah. Because your best players are in Europe. And this is nothing against Bradley. I mean, everybody knows I can't stand him. It's nothing against Out the Door or any of these guys, but let's face it, your best players are in Europe. Christian Pulisic is probably the best player on this team. He's in Europe. Could you ever imagine the U.S. putting a cap on that?
No. However, the cap is, like, for example, like bringing Argentinians and things like that. Now, the problem with Mexico is that, yes, they do have a lot of players going to Europe and play, but they don't play. Or, like in the case of Memo Ochoa, he's always playing with teams that are always going to be relegated.
So, do you think then that is this going to be a problem for the Mexican Federation for a while now?
Yes. Because all these young players that have won the under-17 league, right now they're playing in the Ascenso. Yeah. Right now they're playing in second division. So that talent pool that we thought we had from the people like Espericueta, people like Güero Fierro, they're lost. Yeah. Except for Güero Fierro, who's playing with Chivas. But other than that, they're lost.
Yeah. So what are you saying tonight for the final? The prediction? Yeah.
I said 1-0.
1-0. Okay. Well, guys, we were hoping to dive a little more in the U.S., but we got some really good discussions on here, especially about Rio Grande Valley, which, nobody else in Houston's really doing it. I mean, yeah, nobody else is really talking about them. But it's been a pleasure having you on. So the guys were messaging me. Sean threw you a curveball, and you answered it pretty well. Thank you. They're all saying really good job of filling in. So in case you guys didn't know, he's also been out here a few times watching us live. We plan on trying to get on to KTXF soon. The whole deal's still in the works. So as of right now, we will be back on Wednesday. We still will be doing this type of stuff on YouTube and, whatever. But I have a U.S. game to go watch, and I suggest you guys do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and take Edson over there, too. Hopefully the Tours can pull it out. Hopefully the Dash can win again this weekend. We also have, the U.S. women's tournament going on. So real quick, what are you drinking on?
I totally forgot the name. It's Weisenhauer or something like that. I'm sorry.
Weissheimer. There you go. Yes. I'm drinking my go-to. It's the Rocket Fuel on Nitro. But as always, Forever Orange. Let's go Dynamo. This is the Peel out.